Pioneer fans, Pioneer men's Varsity Lacrosse is live and on the air. We are live here high atop a hallway field where it is your Pioneer men's Varsity Lacrosse team taking on Father Gabriel Richard. Taking a look at the two and their record so far. We'll start off with the Irish. Father Gabriel Richard started off with a loss to Plymouth, that back on March 19th. That was 7-3. Then they had a one-goal loss to Belleville at March 21st. That was 5-4. They had a big win versus Green Hills back on the 24th of March. That was 17-2. And then they were on the other side of that, playing Brighton on the 26th. That was 17-1. They lost to Dearborn Divine Child back on the 31st of March, 15-5. And then they're on a two-game winning streak on the 14th of this month. They had a 9-5 win over Royal Oak Shrine Catholic, and then they played Madison Heights Bishop Foley back on the 21st and won that one 12-0. They're playing Pioneer today. Then on the 25th, they are going to be hosting Saline. And then on the 28th, they will be away at Grosse Pointe Woods University Liggett. They will be away at Salem, on the 1st of May. On the 5th of May, home versus Chelsea. Then on the 7th, home versus Skyline. It's amazing how fast the spring season goes. On the other side, Pioneer, they started off with a win versus Skyline. That was away at Skyline on the 8th. That was a 12-0 win for Pioneer. Then they fell at South Lyon East on the 9th of this month. That was a 8-6 loss. They beat Huron over at Huron on the 13th. That was 17-2. They fell by 2 goals versus Dexter. That was on the 17th. That was a 9-7 loss. And then they beat Temperance Bedford on the 20th. That was 12-6 here at home. They are playing Skyline tomorrow, so come on down. If you got plenty of time, about 6 minutes or so as things are getting warmed up, to come on down and check out this game. And if you can't make today, try tomorrow. You can certainly come out and watch them take on Skyline. That is on the 24th. On the 27th, they're home versus Huron. These are 6 p.m. games. On the 29th, they're home versus Saline. That is a 6 p.m. game. They're away at Temperance Bedford on the 1st. That is a 7 p.m. game, I believe. On the May 6th, they are away at Tecumseh. That's a 6 p.m. game. They have Huron at home on the 12th of May. That is a 4:30 game. 5 o'clock. Got 2 different times listed. Actually, 3 different times, 6:30 there. So, and then they're playing Saline on the 14th over at Saline. So, a little bit about the 2 squads and their records. As we'll let the teams get warmed up, let's mention the wonderful sponsors of Pioneer Men's Lacrosse. We're very grateful to all those who help support the team. Please help support those who help support the team. Platinum sponsors included GAGO, Specialty Eye Institute, Edwards and Schaefer Orthodontics, Ganger Dermatology, Gold Star Mortgage and Financial Group, Reshaber Dentistry, Great Lakes Leadership and Mentoring, Kapnick Insurance, Legacy Oral and Facial Surgery Center, Mirlo Real Estate Partners, Ron's Garage, and Venue. Gold sponsors include Adaptive Building Solutions, Allergy and Immunology Associates of Ann Arbor, Anderson Paint, Ann Arbor Made, Ariel, Hurwitz Green Real Estate, Buffalo Wild Wings, Bank of Ann Arbor, DeRenzo Dental Care, Dr. Stephen Travel, First Martin, Jake Rosenberg Consulting, Lake Forest Golf Club, Linda Forrester Real Estate Agent, PLG/the Blue Jays, Stadium Hardware, Ufer and Company, and Washtenaw Promise. Silver sponsors include Coach M4, DK Creative, Relax Station, Underground Printing, and York. Thank you to all of our sponsors for their support of Pioneer Lacrosse. We'll step away, play a few messages from the MHSAA, turn things over to our PA announcer, Steve, and then we will get going with the opening face-off. You are watching Pioneer Men's Varsity Lacrosse, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at mhsaa.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the Health and Safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Thank you for attending today's Varsity Conference Varsity match to the Father Gabriel Richard and your Ann Arbor Pioneers. Let's introduce the team rosters. First for the Irish, number 1, Matthew Hoban. Number 2, Brady Otterman. Number 3, Colin Hamilton. Number 4, Bart Elin. Number 5, Andy Heck. Number 7, Noah Bradley. Number 8, Cal Moldavin. Number 9, Aiden Palmerides. Number 10, Nick Caplia. Number 11, Ben Sullivan. Number 12, Peter Calvary. Number 13, Jack Gibb. Number 14, Dominic Blowski. Number 15, Andrew Kastrujanowski. Number 16, Garrett Dene. Number 17, Luke Chinesky. Number 18, Joe Getz. Number 19, Ian Everett. Number 20, Danny Disselflag. Number 21, Mel Meiji. Number 22, Jakub Stankovic. Number 23, Jack Hopwood. Number 26, Alfonso Fiorelli. Number 33, Chris Rupp. Number 44, Danny Burns. Number 55, Ethan Gabowitz. Assistant coaches, Joseph Bragg, Robert Finn, Ben Foley, Parker McFarland, Tyler Potter, Jack Steinman. The head coach, Joe Fitzgerald. And now introducing your 2026 Varsity Pioneers. Number 0, Jackson Paul McDonald. Number 1, the captain, Nick Houston. Number 2, Khalil Beaupre. Number 3, Dakota Ayudi Price. Number 4, Rocco Mahan. Number 5, the captain, Jet Latch. Number 6, Ryan Edwards. Number 7, Evo Saren. Number 8, Juan Pablo Bautista. Number 9, Ryan Lawn. Number 10, Aiden McDonald. Number 11, Nolan Miller. Number 12, Joey Fortin. Number 13, Luke Provenzola. Number 14, Connor Edwards. Number 16, Jack German. Number 17, Will Wood. Number 19, Ethan Brady. Number 20, Al Gruishaver. Number 21, Kyle Brady. Number 22, the captain, Ben Sanders. Number 23, Ibrahim Amari. Number 24, Owen Jockey. Number 25, Sam Templeton. Number 26, Ben Ganger. Number 27, Austin Amaro. Number 29, Henry Farmer. Number 31, Ian Donovan. Number 33, John Garcia. Number 35, Isaac Meadow. Number 44, Greg Newman. Number 74, Sam Cross. And number 99, Gary Conley. Assistant coaches, Sam Arson and Wilson Ayers and Nate Uhas. The head coach of the Pioneers is John Conley. Before today's match, we'd like to take a moment to show our appreciation for our country. We invite those who are able to please rise and, as a sign of respect, move your hats for the playing of our national anthem. like to take a moment to recognize today's referees, Scott Mitchell, Russ Holdridge, and Spencer Garrett. We recognize these individuals do their best to call the game fairly and accurately. Fans are encouraged to demonstrate positivity and respect for all players, coaches, and officials.
We cannot have the games we love without the officials, so please, if you think you can do better, reach out to the MHSAA, because we could use more officials. It's 12 minutes up on the clock, getting ready to go here. Pioneer in their white jerseys with the numbers in dark purple on the front and on the back. Pioneer in script on the front, white shorts and white shoes. On the other side, the Irish have a really dark gray jerseys with Irish in script on the front, numbers on the front and on the back, and white dark gray shorts. As the starters come out and get set, on the side for Pioneer, you see Ganger, Latch, Miller, Beaupre, Donovan, Houston, Reshaber, Conley, and Paul McDonald. As McDonald gets set over to our right for the cage for Pioneer on the other side. That ball trying to scrape it up. That's grabbed as coming ahead. Hobart has it, goes over the restraining line. Hobart moves it over onto the near wing, over to Hamilton. Hamilton just above the goal line, extended outside the numbers on the near wing, waiting for substitutions to come in. As that flips back over, as that's brought in by Getz. Now back over to Hamilton on the near wing. Hamilton goes towards the goal line, extended, now trying to cut in between the hash marks. Shot there as a great save by McDonald. McDonald in the crease now, firing it all the way down. Lon brings it down now. Houston just beyond the restraining line, fires it over. And it's grabbed, brought in by Beaupre. Beaupre moves it over the far side. Shot there by Miller. As a big save there by number 6, who I don't have on my roster. It's fired all the way down. Now brought ahead. Here comes Caitlin. Caitlin over midfield. Caitlin coming down the near wing into the offensive zone. Caitlin now flips it back behind the goal line, extended. That over to Sullivan. Sullivan goes from the near side to the far side, back behind the goal. Sullivan flips it out over onto the far wing. That is over to Hoban. Hoban heads over the outside the restraint line, back into the midfield area. Hoban gets a running start into the offensive zone, spins between the hatch marks. Hoban has that knocked away. Here comes Pioneer. As that's flipped ahead over, Paul McDonald has it. Paul McDonald coming down the far wing. That fired, that'll go into the offensive zone for Pioneer. Rolling all the way back into the far corner. Otterman trying to get to it. Otterman. That goes out, and that's going to be Father Gabriel Richard's ball back in their own defensive zone. Wherever the fire trucks are going, we wish them well. So you can hear them in the background. Here comes Father Gabriel Richard as the Irish get it outside of their own defensive zone. Coming down the far wing, that raked up by Hamilton. Hamilton coming down the far sideline. Hamilton on the numbers, trying to make it into the offensive zone. Hamilton over the restraining line. Now steps back into the midfield area. Moves it over to Castro Gianelli. Castro Gianelli flips it back over to Hamilton inside the offensive zone by the numbers. Hamilton heads towards the top of the offensive zone between the hash marks. Hamilton trying to get a sidearm shot, loses an edge. That raked up, coming the other direction. Here comes German. German gets over the restraining line into the offensive zone. German fires it as that's taken. Ganger has it back behind underneath the goal line, extended over on the far wing. Ganger fires it back into the midfield area. That's grabbed by Ayudi Price. Ayudi Price steps back, centered up in the midfield area. Now cuts down the hash marks on the far side. Ayudi Price goes underneath the goal line, extended over onto the near wing. Ayudi Price Comes over the goal line, extended on the near wing, trying to break himself free. Back into the midfield area. That over to Jof. Jof trying to split between the hash marks. He takes a tumble. That ball raked up. Coming the other direction now is Getz. Right to midfield. Spins over midfield. Getz trying to make it into the offensive zone. That flipped and intercepted. Here comes Pioneer the other direction. Over midfield. Racing ahead with it as that's Grieshaber. Fires in a goal! Fired by the long stick. Jack Grieshaber puts it in. And at 8:23. Sorry, Cal Grieshaber. Forgive me.
23 remaining in the first quarter.
Always good to get a goal from a defender or long stick midfielder. Ball set. Tobin in to take the face off, trying to get it is Donovan. Donovan has the face off. Donovan coming over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Donovan, bounce shot. That goes over the goal, raked up by Miller. Miller has it, goes over the goal line extended. Miller coming down the numbers on the near wing. He loses an edge. That ball rolls, raked up, grabbed. Now coming the other direction with it. 25, who I don't have on my roster, over midfield. Fired. Tipped by Grieshaber. That goes out the far sideline. Last touched by the Irish. That's going to be Pioneer ball. 7:45 left to go here in the first. 1-0. Pioneer with the lead. That ball brought down the far sideline over midfield. Spinning with it. Ayudi Price gets over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Ayudi Price. It's right on the numbers. Flips it back towards the midfield area. Rakes it up himself. Now he comes down the far hash marks, poked away. That pops up high, trying to grab it. Grabbed by Ganger. Ganger gets it over to Latch. Latch, even with the goal now above the goal line, extended on the near wing. Latch goes back into the midfield area. Gets between the hash marks. Latch now running down the far hash marks. Latch trying to make his way between. Fires it. That goes off the goal over onto the near wing. Racing over to get it is Beaupre. Beaupre gets it before it goes out of bounds. Beaupre right at the restraining line. Flips that. Wood has it between the hash marks in the midfield area. Wood over the restraining line. Coming down the far hash marks. Wood, sidearm shot. That's knocked away. Save out there by the Irish keeper. Pioneer closest to it. Latch has it, coming over the goal line, extended, fires it over. Here comes Beaupre. Beaupre sidearm shot, and that scores, putting it in. Beaupre at 6:33.
Pioneer goal number 2, Will Beaupre. Assistant to number 5, Jeff Latch.
Latch picks up the assist.
In the first quarter.
6:33 left. That ball coming down. Houston has it down the far wing. Houston has it tipped away. Battle forward in the midfield area, trying to rake it up. Trying to grab that was Batista. Now Houston gets over the restraining line. Back into the midfield area. That ball fired. Coming down. That shot not saved by the keeper. And fired over, picked up. Here comes Hamilton down the near wing. Hamilton gets between the numbers. Hamilton between the hash marks. Now steps into the offensive zone. Hamilton trying to split a pair of defenders. Racing down even with the goal on the far wing. Hamilton. 5:43 left to go. Waiting for substitutions. Make sure everyone's on side before folks come in. Now that ball over on the near wing to Keelan. Keelan coming down the hash marks on the near wing. Keelan loses an edge, flips it back. That grab by Sullivan. Sullivan moves it over to Hamilton directly behind the goal and along the end line. Hamilton over on to the far wing. As that ball brought over by Moldovan. Moldovan has it between the hash marks. Moldovan trying to race, trying to get towards the goal. That knocked away by Paul McDonald, picked up, racing the other direction. Here comes German over midfield. German coming just outside the hash marks on the near wing. That flipped over, bounce shot, knocked away. Good opportunity by Ganger. That rolls and goes out the end line. That is going to stay Pioneer ball. Last touch by the Irish. 2-0 Pioneer with the lead. 4:40 left to go here in the first. Latch comes over the goal line, extended on the near wing, loses an edge there, rakes it up. Latch as a sidearm shot. So the keeper is Distilsweg, and it's going to be their goalie. Just wearing number 6 instead, number 20, just to confuse us here. He's been doing fantastic between the pipes. Flipped over, racing over to get it is Kaplia. Kaplia outside the numbers on the near wing. Kaplia gets it over. Now coming ahead with it is Everts. Everts into the offensive zone. Everts coming down the numbers underneath the goal line extended. Everts gets it over to Sullivan. Sullivan just underneath the goal line extended on the near wing. That over to Hamilton and a whistle. It's like a timeout called. We'll take it with them. Let's play a few messages from the MHSAA.
Timeout called on the field.
So Father Gabriel Richard calls timeout. We'll be right back.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at mhsaa.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As we're getting back underway, 3:46 left to go here in the first. 2-0 Pioneer with the lead as the Irish have the ball. As Hamilton has it, top of the offensive zone, coming down the far hash mark, shot there. And in, Hamilton with the score, makes it 2-1. Irish get on the board at 3:33. So 2-goal run to start off the game by Pioneer. The Irish answer back, cut it to a 1-goal lead. Next goal, big for momentum, but still very early in the game. Donovan in to take the face-off versus Hoban. That ball gets set, just the top of the block A's there. I was trying to rake it up, that rolls back. Latch trying to get to it. As that pulled away by Hoban. Hoban into the offensive zone. Hoban. That rolls down, picked up, fired ahead to Latch. Latch makes it over midfield. Latch between the hash marks, racing over into the offensive zone. Latch fires it over onto the near wing to UD Price. There's a shot by Miller. It's run out, closest to it Pioneer. Ganger has it in along the end line. That is a penalty on Everts. So cross-check on Everts.
Penalty number 19, Ian Everts, 1 minute for cross-checking.
Pioneer has the ball and his man up. Latch directly behind the goal. Latch fires it over the goal line, extended on the near wing to Beaupre. Top of the offensive zone over to AUD Price. Now firing it back over to Latch. Latch comes over onto the near wing. Latch fires back to Beaupre. Beaupre gets it over. AUD Price with a shot that just goes wide, but closest to it, Pioneer. They'll keep the ball with 2:51 left to go here in the first. Latch starts things off, coming up the near wing over to Beaupre. Beaupre gets it over to AUD Price. AUD Price over onto the far wing to German. And sent right back to Latch, directly behind. And Beaupre over to AUD Price. AUD Price fakes it to German, fires it and puts it in. AUD Price puts Pioneer back up by 2 at 2:32.
Goal number 3, Dakota IUD Price. At 2:32 remaining in the first quarter.
Three to 1, Pioneer with the lead. Again, Donovan and Hoban ready to take the face-off. Latch on the near wing. Number 25 over on the far wing. Trying to see that's Houston over there with Sinkowitz. That ball grabbed, UD Price. Shot, braked up by the Irish. And get that back over to Distilswag. Now launched into the midfield area. Bringing it ahead is Sinkowitz. Sinkowitz between the hash marks. Pressure coming from Miller. Sinkowitz over midfield. That fired ahead. Sullivan trying to rake it up. Sullivan. That rolled over midfield. Down towards the sideline. Grabbed by Paul McDonald. Paul McDonald comes even with the goal. On the near wing, Paul McDonald gets it over to Miller. Miller hangs on to it. Comes on the numbers on the near wing. And knocked away. Here comes the Irish coming ahead with it. Is Kaplia. Kaplia trying to pass it, but German gets his stick in the way. That fired over. Grabbed by Sullivan on the near wing. Sullivan outside the numbers on the near wing. Sullivan underneath the goal line extended. Sullivan in along the end line. Waits for substitutions to come in. 1:25 left to go here in the first. 3-1. Pioneer with the lead. That ball back over to Hamilton on the near wing. Hamilton sends it top of the offensive zone as that's over to Getz. Getz on the numbers on the near wing. Getz stutter steps, cuts to his left, comes between the hash marks. Getz sidearm shot, bounce shot, that knocked down. Good job to knock it down by McDonald. Raked up by Sullivan on the near wing, sends it top of the offensive zone. Now Hoban trying to spin, getting between the hash marks. Hoban sends it back into the midfield area over to Getz. Getz breaks it up. Getz on the near hash marks, fires it over to Hoban. Hoban just inside that midfield area on the numbers on the far wing. 42 seconds left to go here in the first. Hoban into the offensive zone. Stutter steps trying to come down the far side. Flips it over to Sullivan between the hash marks. Sullivan comes over onto the near wing. Now Hamilton on that near wing. Hamilton fires it all the way over to Hoban. Hoban just outside the hash marks on the far wing. 19 seconds left to go here in the first. Hoban trying to get between the hash marks. Hoban coming in. Hoban shot and a goal. So number 1, Hoban makes it a 1-goal game again with 11 seconds left.
Goal number 1, Matthew Hoban. 11 seconds remaining, first quarter.
So Father Gabriel Richard able to keep Pioneer from making a goal run. Donovan in to take the draw versus Hoban, or take the face-off versus Hoban. So they both get down, ball between them. Here comes the whistle, trying to pull that away, popped up high. Hoban gets it out of midair. Hoban coming down, 6 seconds left to go, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Tipped away there by Conley, and that will be the end of the first quarter. At the end of 1, it is 3-2, Pioneer with the lead. We do want to thank the wonderful sponsors for Pioneer Lacrosse. That includes the platinum sponsors. That's Gago. Yeah, let's have them.
Edward and Schaefer Ortho, Andrew Dermatology, Gold Star Mortgage and Financial Group, Free Favor Dentistry, Great Lakes Leadership and Mentoring, Catholic Insurance, Legacy Oral and Facial Surgery Center, Murillo Real Estate Partners, Ron Ross, and Venue.
Thank you to our student announcer, Lauren Newman.
Appreciate Lauren Newman. Gold sponsors includes Adaptive Building Solutions, Allergy and Immunology Associates of Ann Arbor, Anderson Paint, Ann Arbor Made, Ariel Hurwitz Green Real Estate, Buffalo Wild Wings, Bank of Ann Arbor, DeRenzo Dental Care, Dr. Stephen Travel, First Martin, Jen Rosenberg Consulting, Lake Forest Golf Club, Linda Forrester Real Estate, PLG Blue Jays, Stadium Hardware, Buford and Company, Washington Promise. Silver sponsors include Coach and 4, DK Creative, Relax Station, Underground Printing, and York. Thank you to all the wonderful sponsors of Pioneer Men's Lacrosse. Please help support those who help support the team. Gibb in to take the face-off versus Donovan. Pioneer now going left to right here in the second quarter. Up by a goal, 3-2. Father Gabriel Richard has scored last. They're looking to put together a goal run. Pioneer had a 2-goal run to open up the game. That popped up high, trying to get to it is Newman. Still loose over on the far side, trying to rake it up is Beaupre. Beaupre has it in the midfield area. Beaupre comes between the hash marks, trying to race towards the restraining line. Beaupre into the offensive zone. Beaupre right on the restraining line, fires it over to Latch. Latch. Pressure out there by Rupp. Latch. Now comes over outside the near hash marks. Latch into the offensive zone. Latch coming down the numbers on the near wing. Latch underneath the goal line extended. 11:18 left to go here in the second. Latch makes it over the goal line extended. Sidearm shot that just goes wide. Closest to it is Miller. Pioneer maintains possession on the run out. Miller. And underneath the goal line extended, trying to spin, cuts above the goal line extended. That knocked away, loose in the crease. Popped up high and grabbed. There is Kaplia. Kaplia fires it ahead. With it, Distelswig trying to move it ahead. Here comes Hamilton. Hamilton into the midfield area, over midfield, and that is going to be offside. So that's going to be Pioneer ball. 10:37 left to go. That ball all the way over. Fire, good block. Good save, back over. Iudi Price comes between the hash marks. He has that poked away, loose ball. Iudi Price trying to get to it. That back into the midfield area, raked up by Beaupre. Beaupre on this near wing. Gets it over. Ganger goes underneath the goal line extended. Ganger going from the near side to the far side. Ganger stops. Now heads back behind the goal, coming to the near side. Ganger trying to fire it out in front. Shot there. Good save by Distelswig. Distelswig played very good in the crease. So he'll fire that over onto the far wing. That's going to be brought ahead by Heff. Now Kaplia trying to make his way down the numbers on the far wing over midfield. Kaplia gets into the offensive zone. Kaplia Wood trying to mark him. Kaplia. Reshaber now backs off a little bit. Kaplia gets it. Sends it over to Hamilton. Hamilton outside the numbers on the far wing. Hamilton. Substitutions coming in. Hamilton even with the goal now underneath the goal line extended on the far wing. Hamilton gets it over to Sullivan. Sullivan moves it over onto the near wing as that's Aldovan with it. Now Hoban has it at the restraining line. Hoban between the hash marks, spins with it, that ball loose. Picked up, here comes Pioneer into the midfield area. Over midfield, Beaupre races into the offensive zone. Beaupre flips it over, trying to get to Ganger. Ganger trying to rake that up, but that grabbed. Here comes Kaplia. Kaplia goes the other direction for the Irish. Kaplia moves it ahead into the offensive zone as Hamilton. Hamilton looking for a sidearm shot. He's walled off. Conley and Sullivan doing a good job. That ball bouncing into the middle. Trying to rake it up as Sullivan in a battle as that goes over midfield. That'll roll into the offensive zone of Pioneer, but a whistle. That's going to be Pioneer's ball. Pioneer has it on the numbers right in the midfield area. German into the offensive zone. German. Oh, that fired over as Ganger trying to get to it and maybe just moved a half second before the ball was there. Janae has it on the far sideline with 8:21 left to go. 3-2, Pioneer with the lead. Now that back to Distelswig. Distelswig coming between the hash marks, gets into the midfield area. Distelswig firing it ahead. That ball rolls over, grab. Now Pioneer the other direction. Here comes Jove. Jove moves it over onto the near wing to Latch. Latch outside the hash marks on the near wing. Latch underneath the goal line extended. Latch and along the end line going from the near side to the far side. In front of him is Otterman. Otterman watching Latch. Latch. There's a flag over onto the far wing. Delayed penalty on Father Gabriel Richard. Sidearm shot. Saved there by Ayudi Price. Technical penalty on Sullivan, I did not see. So 30-second penalty. So Pioneer with the ball, man up for 30 seconds. Latch fires it top of the offensive zone as Ayudi Price has it there. Ayudi Price, sidearm shot, that knocked away. Grabbed by Latch over on the far wing. There's a shot on a goal by Pioneer. Pioneer gets back to a 2-goal lead here at 7:24.
Number 5, Jet Latch.
So Pioneer goal by Latch.
24 remaining. Pioneer goal. Pioneer goal, number 5, Jet Latch. 7:24 remaining.
As in to take the draw, Donovan on one side, Gibb on the other. They get the ball right at the meeting of the blockades, just a little bit above that. Jof on the far wing, over there with McGee. Over on the near wing is Newman with Everts. Ball over Beaupre, or excuse me, Jof has it. Jof between the hash marks. That gets over. Calling out signals is Kyle Brady. Now Ayudi Price into the offensive zone, coming down the far hash marks. Ayudi Price trying to make his way, rolls it and in. Ayudi Price with an underhand shot, rolls it in for a goal at 6:46. Pioneer has a 2-goal run. Second goal by Ayudi Price.
Second quarter.
Hoban in to take the face-off versus Donovan. Houston on the near wing, joined by Stankiewicz. Ball right on the blockades, trying to rake it up as there's a pile of players over there. Grabbed by Donovan. Donovan into the offensive zone, trying to get it over to Miller. Raked up over on the near wing. As now spinning with it, Kyle Brady. Kyle Brady on the numbers. Back into the midfield area to Miller. Miller gets it between the hash marks to German. German sends it to an oncoming Wood. Wood feeds it over. That loose. Raked up over there by Provenzola over the over the goal line extended. Provenzola. And back behind the goal line extended. And flipped over on the near wing to Kyle Brady. Kyle Brady, top of the offensive zone, back into the midfield area. And to German. Provenzola has it in the midfield area, heads between the hash marks, back over to German. German gets it over to Latch. Latch coming down the numbers on the near wing. Latch underneath the goal line extended. Latch stops. Now heads over the goal line extended on the near wing, trying to find a way between the hash marks. Spins, trying to shake himself free. Fires it as there's a shot block. Good save on Wood's shot. Beautiful pass by Latch. I think they knocked the goal. Off to making sure the goal is set. Distelzwick has it in the crease. Distelzwick fires it down the midfield area over. As that's Kaplia over onto the near wing. Brought by Maldovan. Flip between the hash marks. Now over on the near wing. Getz has it. Getz. Now gets back into the midfield area. Being watched by Houston. Gets between the hash marks. Conley trying to knock him away. That ball just goes wide. Closest to it. That's run out by Pioneer. They have possession. Grieshaber has it back on the end line. 5-2. Pioneer with a 3-goal lead. In the middle of a 2-goal run. That ball fed ahead to Latch. Latch in the midfield area. Latch racing over the blockades. Gets over the center line. Latch coming down the numbers into the offensive zone. Latch heads down towards the goal line extended. Cuts towards the crease. Now goes back behind the goal line extended. Over on the near wing. Over to Kyle Brady. Kyle Brady just outside the hash marks on the near wing. Back in the midfield area. That to German. Now, Ayudi Price hands it between the hash marks. Gets a running start into the offensive zone. Ayudi Price flips it over. Coming in. Shot by Kyle Brady and a great save by Distelzwick. Distelzwick has made some fantastic saves early on. That ball rolling. Trying to get it to Everts. And it gets over to Maldovan. Maldovan outside the numbers on the near wing, flips that back behind the goal line extended to Sullivan. Sullivan waits for the substitutions to come in. Sullivan just underneath the goal line extended on the near wing. Being watched by Miller. That ball up to Hoban. Hoban trying to come down the near hash marks. Hoban fires as that's grabbed by McDonald. Excellent job by McDonald as he's in his own crease. McDonald comes ahead with it, looking for a place to go with it. McDonald gets into the midfield area. McDonald now moves it back over onto the near wing. Paul McDonald fires it ahead, trying to get the Latch. That knocked down, loose. Ball into the midfield area, picked up on a bounce by Jof. Jof coming outside the numbers on the near wing, stops at the restraining line. Now tries to cut between the hash marks. Jof has it knocked away but gets it back on a bounce. 2:48 left to go here in the second. There is an injured Irish player down, 2 of them.
Timeout for an injured player.
As McGee looks like he's down, and then Hoban is on both knees. So Hoban up and limping. We hope he's all right. Then McGee as well. He was kind of holding his kind of hip or sternum there, so he comes off the field a little worse for the wear. We hope both of those gentlemen will be all right and bounce back soon. Don't want to see any of these wonderful young athletes injured. 2:47 left to go here in the second. 5-2 Pioneer with the lead. As the 2 players come off the field, they'll have substitutions come in. Shinashevsky comes in as well as number 25 for the Irish. That ball, Beaupre gets it over to Ayudi Price. Ayudi Price trying to come down the far hash marks. Ayudi Price floats it as that slips out of his cross early on the shot, closest to it, Pioneer. So Latch will have it on the end line. Latch coming up the near hash marks. Latch cuts back behind, above the goal line, extended on the far wing. Latch trying to spin away from it. Latch coming in, shot and a goal! Latch makes it a 3-goal run for Pioneer at 2:24.
Pioneer goal number 5, Jet Latch.
That is Latch's second goal of the game.
2:24 remaining, second quarter.
So 6-2, Pioneer has a 4-goal lead and a 3-goal run. The Irish are going to try and break into that before halftime. Overtaking the face-off, Gibb on one side, Donovan on the other. Donovan rakes it up. Donovan into the offensive zone. Donovan coming down the far hash marks. Donovan steps back, fires it in, and a goal! Donovan fires it low and puts it in. I am not sure that Distelzwig was expecting that right off the bat, and Donovan makes it 7-2. 5-goal lead for Pioneer and a 4-goal run.
Pioneer goal number 31, Aiden Donovan.
Donovan has been key in for the draw. Of course, William Ayers, one of the assistant coaches, was very good on the face-off for Pioneer back in his playing days. Here comes Lon. Lon coming down the far numbers. Lon back into midfield area. He'll go off on substitution. German has it between the hash marks. German coming into the offensive zone. German gets it over. Shot by Kyle Brady and in. Kyle Brady makes it 8-2. That at 1:53. German picks up the assist. As the Irish take a timeout, they want to talk it over. They'd like to stop this goal run for Pioneer before halftime.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Ready to take the face off. And that's Gibb versus Donovan. Efforts on the near wing with Newman. That raked up. Coming ahead with it is Gibb. Gibb over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Now Hamilton outside the numbers on the far wing. Hamilton, even with the goal on the far wing, waits for substitutions to come in. Hamilton steps back underneath the goal line, extended on that far wing. Reshaber marking him. Hamilton heads towards the top of the offensive zone. Hamilton trying to get between the hash marks. Hamilton spins with it. Shot there and a goal. Irish able to get to stop a 5-goal run for Pioneer. That at 1:23. So Irish goal. Hamilton's second of the game. That makes it 8-3. Irish wanting to get a goal run of their own, going Gibb to take the face-off versus Donovan. There's the whistle, trying to spin with it. Raked up by Gibb. Gibb coming between the hash marks. That ball loose. Still trying to pick it up. Popped up high down onto the near wing. Sullivan trying to get to it. Beaupre racing over to get to it. That out of bounds, and that will be Pioneer ball. Beaupre brings it in as he is coming down outside the numbers on the near wing into over his own restraining line. Goes over midfield. Beaupre coming ahead, 55 seconds left to go. Ayudi Price has it. He steps back into the midfield area, gets it over to German. German back over to Ayudi Price as he goes over the restraining line. Ayudi Price trying to get between the hash marks. Ayudi Price thought about sidearm shot, now comes in. Bounce shot knocked away, pulled the other direction. Here comes the Irish with 34 seconds left. Down the far wing, over midfield. Racing ahead with it is Everts. Everts trying to get between the hash marks. That ball loose. Conley picks it up for Pioneer. Conley feeds it ahead. Here comes Houston. Houston racing down between the hash marks. Houston floats it over onto the near wing. Cal Brady with a shot and a goal. With 14 seconds left, Pioneer makes sure that the Irish can't get a goal run of their own.
In your goal, number 21, Kyle Brady. Assisted by number 1, Nick Houston.
So Kyle Brady with a goal, Houston with the assist.
In the second quarter.
14 seconds left to go here in the second. 9-3, Pioneer with the lead. Gibb in to take the face-off versus German. Gibb has had a lot of success the last couple of face-offs. German trying to rake it up. That pulled the other way. Here comes the Irish, 25 down. That knocked down. Gibb trying to get to it, still trying to rake it up. That ball loose. That'll roll right over midfield, and that will do it. At halftime, it is 9-3, Pioneer with the lead over the Irish. We'll step away for halftime, and we will return with your second half action. You're watching Pioneer Men's Varsity Lacrosse, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is...
As the Blue Jays on the field, 10 and under group, youth lacrosse group, getting a chance to play a little bit at halftime. We appreciate that, as that is trying to build the Ann Arbor lacrosse area.
Still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at mhsaa.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Think of a high school game as a 4-lane highway. Coaches, players, officials, and spectators, each with their own lane. Sportsmanship depends on everyone not crossing over the line. Fans keep it between the lines when they cheer positively for their team. So don't cause an accident. Stay in your lane and let the coaches, players, and officials do their jobs. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Power Ratings will be used this year in soccer, basketball, and boys lacrosse to seed the district tournament in those sports, and you can follow along. Visit your school's page on the MHSAA website to see how your team is faring, and you can look at statewide lists as well. And if you see your team is missing a score, submit it. Learn more about the Michigan Power Rankings at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Arbor Blue Jays for their scrimmage at halftime. Again, if you 10 and under group, so if you have a young person who's interested in lacrosse watching the Pioneer team play, you can certainly reach out to the Ann Arbor Blue Jays and get an early start. As the Blue Jays come off the field, and we're getting ready for the second half. Opening face-off. Gibb back in there to take the draw. That moved over, trying to get to it is Donovan. Now raking up Beaupre. Beaupre heads outside the hash marks on the far wing. Pioneer going from right to left here in the third. Beaupre into the offensive zone. Beaupre outside the numbers, right at the restraining line. Fires that to an oncoming UD Price, as well as Miller coming on for Pioneer. And flip back over to Beaupre on the far hash marks. Beaupre calmly walks through the strain line, cuts down the far hash marks, trying to get in between. There's a shot that goes just wide to the near side. Danger closest to it. He ran it out, so that's going to be Pioneer ball. Latch will start off at the end line. 11:25 left to go here in the third. Latch over the goal line, extended. Latch outside the near hash marks, trying to make his way through, and a shot just picks the upper left-hand corner for a goal.
Pioneer goal, number 5, Jack Latch, his third of the game.
That is his third. He has the hat trick. At 11-17, Pioneer goal. They're back to a 2-goal run. As Latch puts it in, that makes it 10-3. Ball set, ready for the face-off. Rolls over, raked up by Donovan. Donovan splitting a pair of defenders, trying to swim past. That ball loose. Donovan trying to rake it up. He gets it back over the restraining line before he takes a heavy hit. Latch chases it down over on the near wing. That's going to be a whistle as Donovan is down. He is injured. Took a hit right at the restraining line. Stretched himself out to pass that ball and kind of left himself a little vulnerable. He is holding his midsection. We hope that he's going to be all right as coach is out. Again, we don't want to see any of these players injured. Donovan taking his time, trying to get up, holding his midsection. So he's going to run back to the locker room. So we hope he'll be all right. So Latch will start off. Miller comes in. Latch on the near sideline with 11:01 left to go here in the third. Appreciate you joining us before for watching the NFL draft. A little good lacrosse here. Latch heads towards the top of the offensive zone. Latch trying a swim move. That ball loose. As that's loose on the numbers, raked up, coming down the near wing with it is Janae. Janae over midfield. Janae fires it, but that is going to be Pioneer ball. Is out of bounds. Latch will have it on the near sideline, just in the midfield area. Latch gets it over to German between the hash marks. German jogging, goes over the restraining line, down the far hash marks. German Fires it into the far corner to Ganger. Ganger back behind over to Latch. Latch calling out signals. Ganger goes right in front. Latch coming to the far side over the goal line extended. Latch and flips it to German. German bounce shot. That will go out, run out by Pioneer. That bounced a little earlier than he wanted it to. 10:16 left to go. Extra ball on the field. And Pioneer above the goal line extended over on that far wing. Kyle Brady gets over to German. German trying to make his way in. His stick tapped right before he could take the shot. Latch closest to it. That stays Pioneer ball. 10:05 left to go. Latch starts off at the whistle, gets a screen from Kyle Brady. Latch over the goal line, extended on the near wing. That fired as German has it down the far hash marks. German with the bounce shot. Head over to Latch. Latch coming up over the goal line, extended on the near wing. That shot just goes high. Kyle Brady closest to it. He ran it out. That's Pioneer ball. Kyle Brady underneath the goal line, extended on the far wing. Over to German. German back to Wood. Wood coming down the far hash marks in the offensive zone. Wood now fires it over onto the far wing. Kyle Brady gets it back over to Wood. Wood trying to cut in. Wood shoots and he scores! Pioneer goes up 11-3 at 9:32. Wood with the score.
Number 17, Will Wood. 9:32 remaining in the third quarter.
So 9:23 left to go here.
Timeout called on the field.
Timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. By the way, I should mention the sponsors here. If we do get to a 12-goal differential after halftime, it's obvious we are after halftime, that will be a running clock situation. I believe the 18 goal differential where the game is terminated is only in the playoffs. Platinum sponsors for Pioneer Men's Lacrosse, Gago Specialty Eye Institute, Edwards and Schaefer Orthodontics, Ganger Dermatology, Gold Star Mortgage and Financial Group, Ray Shaver Dentistry, Great Lakes Leadership and Mentoring, Kapnick Insurance, Legacy Oral and Facial Surgery Center, Mirlo Real Estate Partners, Grons Garage and Venue. Gold sponsors are Adaptive Building Solutions, Allergy and Immunology Associates of Ann Arbor, Anderson Paint, Ann Arbor Made, Ariel Hertzwitz Green Real Estate, Buffalo Wild Wings, Bank of Ann Arbor, DiRenzo Dental Care, Dr. Stephen Travel, First Martin, Jen Rosenberg Consulting, Lake Forest Golf Club, Linda Forrester Real Estate, PLG Blue Jays, Stadium Hardware, Ufer and Company, and Washtenaw Promise. Silver sponsors are Coach and 4, DK Creative, Relax Station, Underground Printing, and York. Please help support those who support the team. As Houston in to take the face-off as Donovan went back to the locker room. We hope he's all right. He's trying to rake that ball up on the other side. Gibb. As that ball coming ahead. Flipped by Gabriel Richard into the offensive zone as Moldovan has it. Now back behind over to Sullivan. Sullivan underneath the goal line extended. Sullivan. Over to Hamilton. Hamilton up the near wing. Hamilton. Over the goal line extended on the near wing. Hamilton comes towards the top of the offensive zone between the hash marks. Sidearm shot. And deflects all the way back towards midfield as Latch rakes it up. Latch heading the other direction into the offensive zone. Latch racing down the far hash mark. Shot there. And a big save as Distelzweg had it. And fired ahead to Keelan. Keelan outside the hash marks into the offensive zone for Father Gabriel Richard. Keelan underneath the goal line extended on the air wing. Watched by Beaupre. Now Sullivan has it directly behind. Garcia watching him. Sullivan over the goal line extended on the far wing. That flipped right back out to Getz. Now Getz. Top of the offensive zone on the far wing. Getz flips it over. Provenzola watching him. Hoban has it on the near hash marks. Hoban over to Hamilton. Hamilton on the numbers on the near wing. Hamilton. trying to spin his way between the hash marks. Flips that as it's big time shot, but it wouldn't stay in the cross. Coming the other direction. Here comes Houston. Houston into the offensive zone for Pioneer. Houston spins with it. Houston with that long stick. Not easy to get a shot away. That ball over on the far sideline. Houston trying to keep it in as that will go out. Pioneer ball. Top of the offensive zone at UD Price. As he crosses over the restraining line, trying to come down that far hash marks, that ball loose. UD Price trying to get to it, that kick back into the midfield area. Trying to get to it, Beaupre, big battle there with Keelan. Out of bounds, Pioneer ball. 7:13 left to go here in the third. 11-3, Pioneer with the lead. As Ryan Edwards gets it over to Beaupre. Beaupre, top of the offensive zone. Beaupre. And flips it back over to UD Price. UD Price over to Ryan Edwards. Ryan Edwards feeds it back behind the goal line, extended to Latch. Latch. Sidestepping over behind the goal. Now cuts over onto the near side. Latch walled off, spins, trying to get himself free. Latch shot. And a goal. Latch with his fourth goal of the game. Makes it 12-3.
Pioneer goal number 5, Jet Latch, his fourth of the game. 6:43 remaining, third quarter.
6:43, Pioneer goal. They have a 4-goal run now. Donovan back in there. We're very glad to see him back. Gibb on the other side. Coming ahead, Pioneer has it. Latch trying to fire it over just off the tip of Kyle Brady's cross. That goes out of bounds. That will be Irish ball. 6:36 left to go. Janae has it in the far corner. Gets that over to Distelsweg. Distelsweg comes out of his crease. Flips that on a bounce towards midfield. That picked up. Coming ahead with it. That fired by Ethan Brady. Knocked down. Loose. Grabbed. Now over onto the near wing. With it on the near wing. That moved over as Gaindra gets it right back to Ethan Brady. Ethan Brady over onto the far wing. That's sent by Kyle Brady back over to German. German over the restraining line outside the far hash marks. German heads towards the goal line extended. Flips that all the way over. Directly behind the goal to Latch. Latch comes over onto the near wing. Latch feeds it over to Ryan Edwards. Ryan Edwards trying to get to it. That plucked up. Coming the other direction with it is Janae. Janae over midfield. Janae works his way into the offensive zone. Excuse me, forgive me. That was Getz. Getz moves it back over to Sullivan. Sullivan underneath, directly behind the goal. Sullivan watched by Garcia there. 5:30 left to go. Moved over onto the far wing as that's Moldova. Back out into the midfield area. Trying to work his way down is Hamilton. Hamilton on the far hash mark, shot and a goal. Hamilton stops the Pioneer goal run. At it 5:14.
5:14 remaining, third quarter.
Hat trick for Hamilton. And it's 12-4. A goal lead by Pioneer. Donovan again comes in versus Gibb. That ball right on the center line, just above the blockades. Racing over to try and get it. Donovan rakes it up, takes a hit, picks it up on a bounce, coming down the numbers on the far wing. Donovan into the offensive zone, stops there. Donovan flips it back over to Kyle Brady. Now coming in Miller. Miller takes a heavy hit, that ball loose, picked up. Here comes the Irish coming down with it. Number 25, that launched all the way ahead. Over Moldovan has it. Sullivan over onto the far numbers. Sends it over to Hoban. Hoban, top of the offensive zone on the far wing. Hoban. Watched by Newman. Hoban gets it over. And move to Castro Giovanni. Castro Giovanni gets it over to Hamilton. Hamilton Comes between the hash marks. Hamilton trying to get around Grayshaber. Hamilton floats it over. Shot and a goal. Hoban puts it in from a feed from Hamilton, and it's a 2-goal run by the Irish. That's their first of the game at 4:14.
Father Gabriel goal number 1, Matthew Hogan, his second of the game. 4 minutes, 14 seconds remaining.
So 4:14 left to go, 13-5. Ball raked back. Beaupre trying to get to it. Battle. Beaupre rakes it up, trying to get around traffic. Hamilton watching him. Beaupre turns on the Jets, goes over midfield. Beaupre trying to get around Gibb. Beaupre spins with it as he'll step over the restraining line into the offensive zone. That ball over to Latch. As Ganger flipped it over to Latch. Latch calling out signals, moving people around. Latch sends it top of the offensive zone on the near wing to Beaupre. Beaupre trying to swim around, bounce shot. That goes just over the goal, raced out. Kyle Brady closest to it. Pioneer maintains possession. 3:42 left to go. Latch has it underneath the goal line, extended directly behind the goal. Latch fires it top of the goal line, or top of the offensive zone, as that's German who takes a shot. It was just wide. Latch closest to it. That'll maintain Pioneer possession. Latch will get things going, and along the end line, Latch goes over the goal line, extended, gets a screen from Beaupre. Latch stops, shot and a goal, just under the crossbar. Might have been tipped by a defender, but Latch puts it in at 3:22. Fifth goal by Latch, matches his uniform number. So 14-5, 9-goal lead by Pioneer. Ball set. Houston in to take the draw. Popped up is Hoban on the other side, racing over. That grab by Rupp. Rupp coming down the far sideline. Rupp over midfield. Rupp trying to make it over the restraining line, firing it all the way back. Grab by Sullivan, even with the goal on the far wing, or just underneath the goal line, extended on the far wing. Sullivan sends that to Keelan. Keelan, top of the offensive zone, back into the midfield area for Getz. Getz goes over the restraining line on the numbers. Getz now heads down towards the goal line, extended. Getz trying to feed it over across. That ball loose, trying to rake it up is Conley. Still loose. Conley trying to get to it as that ball grabbed. Racing ahead with it, Provenzola. Provenzola outside of his own defensive zone. He takes a big tumble right in front of the bench. Knocked out of bounds. That's going to be Irish ball. Hamilton will get things started right in front of the Pioneer bench. Hamilton works his way, fires it down. That grab by Sullivan. Sullivan just above the goal line, extended on the far wing, back over to Hamilton. Hamilton just outside the numbers on that far wing. Hamilton back over to Sullivan, right at the restraining line on the far wing. Sullivan trying to get around Garcia. Sullivan steps back into the midfield area. He gets it over to Hamilton on that far wing. Hamilton trying to work around Grieshaber. Hamilton fires it. That loose off the post. Trying to rake it up is Conley. That is going to be Irish ball. 1:53 left to go. As that sent loose, trying to get to it is Lon. Grabbed, flipped over, spinning with it. That popped up high. Back to get to it is Getz. Getz, top of the offensive zone. Gets it over to Kalen. That went off of a defender's leg. Now spinning with it. Trying to get away from it is Moldovan. That ball loose goes out. Trying to keep it in, Pioneer, but that goes out. That's going to be Irish ball on the far sideline with 1:24 left to go here in the third. So Sullivan gets things started on the far sideline, even with the goal, sends it over to Getz. Getz, top of the offensive zone on the numbers on the far wing. Getz. Calling out signals. Getz. Stutter steps. Goes just into midfield there. Over to Hoban. Hoban back to Getz. Getz between the hash marks. Takes a long shot. That bounces. Goes just wide. 1 minute left to go. Closest to it is the Irish, so Father Gabriel Richard maintains possession. Sullivan on the numbers on the far side. Sullivan trying to get between the hash marks. Garcia wards him off. That ball over to Hamilton. Hamilton trying to get around Grieshaber. Screen there. Hamilton with the shot that deflected. Closest to it is Kalen. And it's going to stay Irish ball with 43 seconds left to go in the third. 14-5, 9-goal lead by Pioneer. Ball over to Sullivan on the numbers on the near side. Sullivan gets it over, shot there, deflect, good job by McDonald. That goes all the way over. Hoban trying to keep it in, out of bounds. That is going to be Pioneer. No, that's Irish ball coming in. Hoban has it, shot there. That flipped over to Sullivan on the near wing. Sullivan trying to fire it ahead with 20 seconds left to go. There's a collision on the far side. Popping up is German. He's limping as he comes off. We hope he's all right. So he'll get a little help off the field. So we hope Jack's all right. A good season with Pioneer hockey. Got to see his sisters play lacrosse as well here, as well as for Michigan women's hockey. Irish have it over the goal line, extended. That ball rolls over, out of bounds. Pioneer ball. 12 seconds left to go here in the third. Pioneer up by 9. Lon has it. Lon gets it over to McDonald. McDonald fires it. There's a long pass into the offensive zone, stolen by the Irish. They send it back on a bounce, trying a big-time shot. Wouldn't stay in the cross, as that's the end of the third quarter. We head into the fourth, 14-5, Pioneer with the lead.
We are correcting the score. The score is Pioneer 13, Father Gabriel 5.
Sorry, 13-5, forgive me. 13-5.
And now finishing...
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As we are heading into the fourth, again the score corrected, 13-5, 8-goal lead by Pioneer. Double checked my notes, and that does look like it is correct, not that my notes are official. Gibb versus, I believe that's Donovan. Ready for the face-off. Newman with Rupp on the near wing. Donovan rakes it up. Donovan gets it over to Latch. Latch. Pioneer going left to right here in this fourth quarter. Latch Over the goal line extended, coming down the numbers on the near wing. Latch. Underneath the goal line extended, Latch. Goes in along the end line, Latch. Waits for substitutions to come on. As Latch goes over. That ball loose, plucked up, as heading the other direction is Gibb. Gibb over his own restraining line, heading towards midfield. Gibb gets over the center line. Now into the offensive zone. Gibb flips it over to Hamilton. Hamilton on that far wing. Hamilton goes underneath the goal line extended. Hamilton waits for substitutions to come on for the Irish. Hamilton just north of that end line. Reese Shaber watching him. Hamilton goes over the goal line extended. Hamilton. He has 3 goals. Shot there. Knocked down. That loose over onto the far wing. Hoban tracks it down before it goes out of bounds. Hoban has it on that far sideline. 10:45 left to go here in the fourth. Hoban trying to make his way through. Hoban walled off. That's sent over to Hamilton. Hamilton between the hash marks. Bounce shot. That goes out. Raced out by Sullivan. He ran it out. That'll be Irish ball. Father Gabriel Shard has it as Hamilton gets it over to Getz. Getz on the numbers on the near wing. Getz trying to head between the hash marks. Getz top of the offensive zone, floats it over. Now Hamilton between the hash marks. Bounce shot. It's run out. Moldovan closest to it. That maintains Irish ball. Make sure there aren't 2 balls on the field, and moved over to Malvada. Moldovan trying to make it over. There's a shot knocked down by McDonald. Great save on the Keelan shot. McDonald gets it over. Meadow was getting some work between the quarters in goal. McDonald over the restraining line into the midfield area. McDonald flips it ahead, that off the tip of a UD Price's cross, coming ahead with it. Now, Keplia gets it over, point blank shot and a goal, as putting it in number 8, Moldovan. That makes it 13-6. 9:38 left to go there.
Cal Moldovan, assisted by number 10, Nick.
So Moldovan with the assist to Kaplia. Gibb and Donovan set for the face-off. Everts with Beaupre over on the near wing. That ball flipped back over. Trying to get to it is Paul McDonald, still trying to rake it up. Grabbed as Grieshaber had it. Now that pulled. Trying to make his way between the hash marks as Hamilton. Hamilton moves it over to Sullivan. Sullivan on the near wing. Sullivan back to Hamilton. Sidearm shot. That just goes over the cross. Closest to it. Moldovan. Moldovan has it. Flips it over onto the far wing. As Getz has it. Getz top of the offensive zone on the far hash marks. Getz flips that over to Hamilton. Hamilton on the far numbers. Set right back behind to Malvinen. Now over onto the near wing to Hoban. Hoban on the near numbers. Hoban sends it back into the midfield area. Sullivan has it right on the number side. Steps into the offensive zone. Sullivan trying to get around Garcia. Sullivan steps back, trying to get to Hoban. That ball loose. As a big battle, trying to rake it up. That grab, Malvinen has it. Over to Sullivan. Sullivan on the near wing. Sullivan at the restraining line. Flips it over onto the far wing. Forgets, Getz. And the numbers on the far wing, Getz. Trying to come down the far hash marks. Good save by McDonald. He rakes it up. 8:16 left to go here in the fourth. Grieshaber sends it ahead. Ball loose. And trying to move it over. Paul McDonald. Grabbed. Trying to race over to get his Fortin. Still battling and loose. Miller trying to pluck it out of midair. That heads towards midfield. And offside, or over and back is the call. That is the Irish ball. Quickly ahead, Keelan has it. Keelan between the hash marks. That's knocked away. Loose and raked up. Here comes Pioneer the other direction. Grieshaber over midfield. Grieshaber down the numbers. Gets it over to Latch. Latch outside the numbers on the far wing. Latch goes underneath the goal line, extended on the far wing. 7:30 left to go here in the fourth. 13-6. Pioneer with the lead. Father Gabriel Richard with the last goal. Latch sends it to the top of the offensive zone over to Beaupre. Now IUD Price over onto the near wing. That back underneath to Ganger. Now Latch sends it over to Beaupre. Beaupre trying to get between the hash marks. Beaupre thought about a sidearm shot. Beaupre gets it over to IUD Price. IUD Price back to Beaupre outside the far hash marks. 7 minutes left to go here in the fourth. Beaupre running start, steps back. Now trying to continue forward, tries to split a pair. That ball loose. Beaupre down to the turf. That raked up. Good job by Miller to get to it. Miller gets it over to IUD Price. IUD Price back into the midfield area. IUD Price gets about 7 yards to work. Moves it over onto the near wing as Fortin has it. Fortin over to Ganger. Ganger over to Latch. Latch. And along the end line, over onto the far wing. Latch feeds it all the way. Gets it back just over the goal line extended. Latch gets a screen. So that was Miller. Latch trying to shake himself free from Rupp. Latch between the hash marks. Bouncing shot just goes wide. Miller closest to it. A flag down, though. So I think Pioneer looks to be man up at 6'11".
Penalty on Father Gabriel, number 16. Here's Janae. 30 seconds for blocking.
Janae gets a blocking foul. So now that ball in the near corner. Bringing it out. And flipped ahead to Wood. Wood sends it to the restraining line. And over to Latch. Over on the far wing to IUD Price. Now Wood has it. Wood sends it even with the goal to Ganger. Back to Wood. Top of the offensive zone to Latch. Latch over onto the far wing to IUD Price. IUD Price back to Latch at the restraining line. Latch comes over down the near hash marks. Latch looks to his left. Calls out. Signals Latch. And switches shoulders. Flips it over to IUD Price. Sidearm shot. That had some pepper on it but just goes wide. Closest to a Pioneer with 5:39 left to go here, 13-6. Starting off the ball in the near corner, Ganger. Ganger flips it over onto the near wing. Latch trying to make his way in. Shot and a goal. Latch with his 6th of the game at 5:33.
Pioneer goal, number 5, Jet Latch. 5:53 remaining in the fourth quarter.
So Latch with his 6th goal of the game puts Pioneer up 14-6. 8-goal lead for Pioneer. On the far wing is Bautista with number 25. On the near wing is Everts with Newman. And in to take the face-off, Gibb versus Donovan. That ball rolled back, looking to get to it as Newman trying to rake it up. Ball wouldn't settle down. Newman trying to get to it. Newman has it. Newman trying to get around a pair of defenders. That knocked down. Loose. Flipped up and fired ahead as that ball grabbed by Newman. Newman over to Latch. Latch will come outside the hash marks into the offensive zone. Latch down the near numbers. Latch underneath the goal line extended. So we approach the 5-minute mark. Latch back behind the goal, firing it. That loose. IUD Price heads over. Rakes it up in the midfield area, about 10 yards outside of the offensive zone. IUD Price trying to work against Rupp. IUD Price coming down the near hash marks, flips that back over to Ganger. Ganger moves it over as Latch comes over the goal line, extended back over to Miller. Miller's shot just goes wide. Wood closest to it. He ran it out. That's Pioneer's ball. 4:36 left to go. Latch will grab it on that far sideline. Latch coming from the far wing. Latch back behind the goal, stops there. Him and Ganger switch positions. Latch directly behind the goal, fires it. That ball, Ayudi Price with a shot and a goal. Latch got to Ayudi Price, who fired from the restraining line.
Pioneer goal, number 3, Dakota Ayudi Price.
4:21. Pioneer with a 2-goal run. Makes it 15-6, 9-goal lead for Pioneer with 4:21 left to go. Looks like a timeout called. We'll step away for a moment. You're watching Pioneer Men's Varsity Lacrosse, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at mhsaa.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
4:21 left to go here in the fourth. Face-off right above the blockades. Donovan in there versus, I think that's Keelan on the other side. No, that's Hoban. Hoban gets it. Hoban coming down the far hash marks for the Irish. Hoban into the offensive zone. Hoban trying to make his way towards the goal. Now heads back towards the top of the offensive zone. Flips it over onto the far wing. As that's Getz with it. On the numbers on the far wing, Getz trying to get it over to Hoban. That ball raked up. Here comes Pioneer over to Latch. Latch outside the numbers, coming down the far wing. Latch into the offensive zone. Long calling for it. Latch underneath the goal line extended on the far wing. Latch trying to spin, trying to get above the goal line extended, trying to get it around Kaplia. That ball over to Lon. Lon just inside the numbers. Flips that back as Ganger trying to get to it. Ganger holds it in. Ganger trying to rake it up. That grab by Kaplia. Kaplia intercepted by Miller. Miller goes over the goal line extended. Sidearm shot and a goal. So sorry, that ball over onto near wing. Keelan with it. I'll go on that one. Keelan makes it over midfield. Keelan coming between the hash marks. Keelan flips it over on the far wing to Hoban. Hoban steps over the restraining line into the offensive zone. Hoban moves it over onto the far wing to Hamilton. Hamilton comes just outside the numbers at the restraining line. Hamilton trying to make his way in. We'll have another game tomorrow. Pioneer Men's Varsity Lacrosse has a shot and a score by Hoban at 2:36.
Goal number 1, Matthew Hoban.
So Hoban stops the 2-goal run by Pioneer. Anyway, Pioneer Men's Varsity Lacrosse versus Skyline tomorrow at 6 p.m. We, unless something happens in my day job, we do plan on broadcasting that game. Then at 11:30, the women's soccer team will have a game. I don't remember who it's against, but again, we hopefully effort to bring that game to you as well. Forgive us for missing a couple games this last week. My wife just ended up in the hospital for a little bit, so glad to be back. Is coming down onto the near wing and flipped over. Taking it underneath the goal line, extended to Sullivan. Sullivan moves it directly behind over to Moldovan. Moldovan Back over to Sullivan on the numbers, just above the goal line, extended on the near wing. That ball raked up by Getz. Getz goes over the restraining line. 2:12 left to go. Getz sidearm shot. Good save by McDonald. Or excuse me, is that Meadow now in? So Meadow now in at goal. Great save by him. Not easy to come in and give a blow to the starting keeper. That ball fired ahead, intercepted by Sullivan. Sullivan over the restraining line for the Irish. Outside the far hash mark, Sullivan on the numbers on the far wing. Trying to get it back to Hamilton. Hamilton right at the restraining line, steps back into the midfield area. Hamilton over to Hoban. Hoban just now coming down the hash marks on the far wing, trying to cut between them, spins with it, shot there, that goes wide. Run out by the Irish. Moldovan has it. 1:29 left to go here in the fourth. 15-7. Pioneer with the lead, 8-goal lead. Getz flips that over to Hamilton. Hamilton steps back over the restraining line. Now comes back down the offensive zone. Hamilton trying to fire it in the middle. That raked up. As here comes Conley rumbling down the field. Conley takes a shot, but he imposes his will and gets over midfield before he's shoved out the near sideline. But good sportsmanship to help him up is Hoban. Conley, I believe, a lineman in football, if I remember right. There's a sidearm underhand shot and a goal by Kaplia. 49 seconds left.
Irish goal by number 10, Nick
Kaplia with the goal that makes it 15-8. 7-goal lead for Pioneer, 49 seconds left to go. Irish trying to make it a little closer. Donovan trying to pull that ball away, raked up by Gibb. Gibb goes down. Gibb slow to get up. There's a flag. Gibb still not up. As going for a ball, I don't think it was on purpose, just going for a ball, caught Gibb's hip, and he flipped end over end. He is slow to get up. He gets a hand up over there by Everts. It's like a trainer over there talking to him, making sure he's all right. So
penalty on Pioneer, number 44.
Irish is man up on a tripping call.
10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
So 40 seconds left, 15-8. Pioneer with the lead. Irish have it in the midfield area. It's Hamilton with it. Hamilton jogs, flips it over onto the far wing. That's sent right back. There's Sullivan trying to get above the goal line extended. Moves over to Hoban. Hoban over to Hamilton. Bounce shot. That goes wide. Running it out. Closest to it is Getz. 30 seconds left. Irish ball. Over to Sullivan, directly behind the goal. Sullivan moves it over to Hoban on the near wing. Hoban trying to get between the hash marks. That ball loose into the crease and grab by Meadow. Meadow launches it into the midfield area. That on a hop. Trying to get to it. Ball loose over onto the near wing. Popped up high. Still trying to get to it. Janae over there. Ganger had it, but he ended up out of bounds, and that's going to be Irish ball with 3 seconds left. And that will do it. Pioneer with the win, 15-8. Again, they will be here tomorrow at 6 p.m. versus Skyline. Nice battle for this city, so come on down, watch the crosstown rivals. I want to thank my cameraman, James Wiseman. My name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic rest of the evening, and we hope to be back tomorrow. Thank you, and have a great evening.